Alright, welcome to part 2 of my lesson on how to play Runnin' With The Devil by Van Halen. In this part we're going to cover the intro. So, as suggested in part 1, you should now have your guitar tuned down to an E flat, which means that every string should be tuned down 1/2 step. Also, as covered in part 1, you may want to tune your B string down just slightly in order to get those bar chords sounding just right. Okay, now let's dive into the intro guitar part, which also happens to be the same as the chorus for the song. First I'll play a demo and then we'll break it down. Note that this demo is going to be played over a backing track which was downloaded from guitarbackingtrack.com. This track happens to be an excellently done performance of the vocals, bass, and drum parts of Runnin' With The Devil. It does not contain any of the original material. Alright, so after that chime-like sound in the beginning, we're going to start off with a slide on the E string beginning right around the 19th or 20th fret. And we're going to strike the E string and then slide all the way down the end of the neck. Okay, and I'm actually using my middle finger to do that slide, but I'm also hitting some of the other strings. It's okay to hit the other ones, but primarily we're trying to focus in on that low E string. Okay, and then we're going to slide up to the first chord of the song, which is on the 5th fret, barring the D, G, and B strings. So the chord sounds like this. But we're going to slide up to it. So that kind of sounds like this. So in context, with the first slide, okay, we're not going to stay there long. We're going to quickly go up 2 frets to the 7th fret, the same bar chord, 7th fret on the D, G, and B strings. So those 2 chords together sound like this. So again. Now if you notice, that time I've got my middle finger reached around, kind of lightly touching the E and A strings. And I'm doing that just to muffle them so that they don't ring out, and it isolates those chords that I want to play. Another thing to note about playing this chord on the 7th fret is I'm trying to emphasize the G and B strings more so than the D string. So instead of playing the chord evenly like this, I'm focusing in on the G and B strings more. Now it's a very subtle difference, but I think it sounds a little more like the record when you play more on the B and G strings for that chord. Okay, so far we've got. And then there's those 2 cool little rhythm hits, which sound like this. And then we go to the next chord. Now to do those little rhythm hits, I'm basically taking my ring finger and my middle finger and I'm resting, well, these 3 fingers, I'm resting them across the fretboard, kind of in the middle of the 9th fret there. And I'm just lightly laying them on the strings. And I'm going to do my rhythm hits over here on the D, G, and B strings, just like this. Okay, so in context, that sounds like this. And now the next part goes like this. Now to do that, all I'm doing is I'm going back down to the 7th fret chord here. Again, barring the D, G, and B strings with my index finger. And then I'm going to play this chord. So all I did there was I put my middle finger on the 8th fret of the B string, and then I put my ring finger on the 9th fret of the D string. And I'm keeping the G string at the 7th fret. and I'm still barring across with my index finger. So the chord again sounds like this. Then I'm going to move that up 2 frets, that whole position. And then I'm going to take my middle finger and my ring finger off to bar the 9th fret, same 3 strings, D, G, and B. So all together, really slow. Now another quick note about that is when I play the second chord, this one, I'm not going to strum it. I'm actually going to hammer onto that. So it sounds like this. Okay, so let me play everything up to that point. Okay, next up is that really cool pick slide, which kind of sounds like this. Okay, so what I'm doing there is I'm taking my pick, I'm holding it kind of at an angle here, and I'm going to slide from the right around the humbucker area on the G string, and I'm going to slide it to right around here, the 18th, 19th fret. And then I'm going to continue this slide on the E string with my middle finger, again like we did in the beginning, and I'm going to slide down. Now I may actually hit the A string and a little bit of the D string as well. It's just a little messy, but together those elements sound like this. Okay, so let me play that in context. Okay, so we're going to do that intro riff 4 times, each time with a pick slide in between them. And at the end of the 4th one, we're going to end on that bar chord on the 9th fret, and then we're just going to slide to the end of the fretboard. So the very end of the 4th one sounds like this. Okay, and another quick note about that is when I was sliding down, I turned my volume down slightly in preparation for going into the first verse.